Alright, so this is how you build this massive construction. If anyone wants to build a very large display case wall-to-wall, this is how you do it. Basically, I have 6 cabinets in here. These are sold as a 5-unit item from Target under the name Real Essentials. You look for the box that says RE on it. They're relatively cheap. I bought these cabinets on sale during the holidays. The 5 shelves were selling for about $22. The 2 3-shelf units, this was $13, and this one again was $22. So the whole thing was less than $100. And then the framing for the aluminum framing was relatively cheap, and the vinyl cost me about $13. I think the whole thing together was somewhere around $170 to put everything together. Of course, the collection itself is worth a couple $1,000, so it's totally worth investing in it. So here's how basically the construction goes. So this is my whiteboard that I was able to build. If you guys want to add a whiteboard to your office, you can go to Lowe's, and they sell 32 by 4 foot long whiteboard you can mount into any wall for $10. So this is pretty cool. Actually, the whiteboard and the anchors, these are mirror hanging clips if anyone wants to know, was $13 total, and then the ink thingy to put it on there was $12. So it was kind of ironic that I spent $25 of it, but half the budget went into just the markers. In any case, the construction goes like this. There are 2 double-stacked 5-shelf units you can get at Target. They're 70 inches tall, 30 inches wide. The 2 3-shelvers are 24 inches wide, and then again on the other side. So the whole thing spans 84 inches. Luckily, my wall is 86 inches, so it totally fits. And most importantly, if you're like me in your house, don't destroy the crown molding. You're going to need that for resale value later. So never bolt into the or destroy or tap into it. So kind of keep whatever you're building away from the crown molding. And so the math works out great, and it's good for the collection. If you do put this in the wall, make sure you anchor it into the wall itself. Find a stud with a stud finder. Anchor a piece of wood into the back of your cabinet, and then another one into the wall, into the stud. And so this keeps it, I guess, what do you call it, is shear. It prevents shear, so now the wall cannot go left and right, and it also can't fall down to kill you in case it does fall down. So that kind of, in some sense, is the most earthquake proofing you want to do. The last thing you want to do is in a room with a bunch of bookcases, and then it falls on you or blocks the way out, right? And then the vinyl sheeting, you can go to any fabric store. I went to Hancock Fabrics. They sell these. You can go and just ask them where it is. It's kind of sometimes hard to find. It's called 12 mil polyvinyl. They make it anywhere from 4 mil all the way up to, I think, 24 mil. 12 mil was a pretty good compromise. It's a lot thicker than Saran wrap, but it works pretty well. It sells for about $6 a yard. And it's sewed in 54-inch widths, and then you buy it by the yard, 36 inches. I bought 2 yards of it, and then I took that roll and I chopped it into sections. So I had a pattern that I had mocked out for doing right upper, left lower, right left upper, left lower, and then the middle upper and the middle bottom, and it cut out, and then I had some leftover scrap that I tossed out. The door frames themselves are recycled from aluminum framing for doing mesh netting, and so basically you have an aluminum piece that you can cut down to size using a hacksaw. And then they have these corner brackets that you'll purchase to make the ends. You'll use magnetic latches to hold the thing in place. On the other side, you'll have door hinges. So let's do a little bit of assembly. I'll take this door down later and show you. Basically, the hinges are relatively easy. You just bolt them into the side of the cabinet, and you can bolt these into the aluminum framing. You see the bracket. The corner bracket there holds everything in place. This piece is called spline. You'll need to roll that into the bracing there to hold the vinyl in place. I'll show you how that looks like. The key is, if you ever go to the home improvement center, you'll know that to bolt the bracket into the cabinet, you'll need a wood screw, but to bolt the hinge into the aluminum frame, you'll need metal sheet screws. They are very different. Wood screws are triangular and designed to dig into wood, whereas sheet screws have a much larger threading, and they're designed to hold into a thinner sheet of metal. Basically, they're designed to dig in and stay firm wherever they are, where these guys are designed to penetrate into something to hold. It's a very different assembly. Same thing over here is the magnetic latch. They are on this side and they're designed to catch the magnetic latches on the cabinet side. You'll have to organize where to put it, and then again use a metal sheet screw and a corner bracket here, the assembly to go together, and they line up and they hit there. And there's another one down here that hits on the other side and they latch, and then together, when they're together like this, they actually take quite a bit of force to open, and so they're not going to pop up by accident and in case of an earthquake or anything. Your collection is not going to wind up on the floor, which was, for me, the biggest consideration living in California. So that's pretty much how that goes. I'll take the door off and I'll show you how to put that together. Alright, so as we look into doing the screening for these doors for my cabinet, you'll need to buy one of these, or they also sell them a larger length. It's a screen frame kit, and it comes with pretty much everything you need. They sell for $13 at Lowe's. You can either get them in this length, which I think will build up to, let's see, 60-inch long, 5-foot frame. So that should cover most of your needs, and it comes with everything you need. It is aluminum frame. It has a spline that's in it. This is a piece of metal material that goes through it, and it comes with corner brackets, a little pull tab, and a tension spring. You won't need these guys for doing an aluminum door for your cabinet, but I'll show you how these go into place. Put that aside. And so this is basically what it is. I took the door off my middle cabinet there, and so this is how it goes. This is material called spline. It's a piece of rubber-like material that goes into the track here. Your plastic, the vinyl that I buy, will get stretched in and tucked into here. The corners, they look like this, and they're pretty slick. The fact that you don't have to worry about your door frame being too far off from 90 degrees. Although I will recommend that if you do this, find a piece of wood that is 90 degrees and then kind of bolt it in place, and just to make sure that it is square. These will work pretty well, but you're going to have a little bit of flop just because these guys are not really firm. There's a little bit of slop. There's a little bit of wiggle room for these guys to go in there. So you might be off by a couple of degrees. Aesthetically, it should look good, but if you really want to do it right, you should bolt these guys down into something to make sure it's 90 degrees when you do it. And so this guy goes into here, this guy goes into there, and then this thing gets pushed into there. So I'll show you how. Alright, so I shoved the corner bracket in. It's just a slot fit. It just slides right into there. You take the plastic and you pull it down. I've already done this and I've cut it to size already, but when you do this, make sure you leave a lot of room so you have something to grab and pull. Ideally about 3 inches extra on the left and right and bottom of this. Don't cut it until you're really done. You totally know what you're doing. This spline will go into the track. This spline, by the way, you'll have to buy this separately. It comes in a big bag. You'll need the 140 size if you buy the tubing. I'll go to Lowe's and show you exactly where to buy these things. They come in a big ball like this, and you'll just have to cut it to size. They go into the track, and ideally, if you line it up and pull it, you'll have to pull it tight and then squeeze it in there. You can kind of use your fingers. They do sell a special tool. It's called a spline pusher. It's kind of like a pizza cutter. And basically, what you do is you go in there and you roll it into the track really smoothly until this thing is totally in there. Wow, this is hard. I'm right-handed, and I'm trying to do this with my left hand, and it's really awkward. In any case, you get the idea. And then, so once all the spline is in place, you take this guy and you'll push it into it. Once everything is set, you'll come in back and you'll take your utility knife and just cut it nice and smooth, cut all the extra off. And you're pretty much good to go. Bolt these guys in with your metal sheet screws, and then mount it back on your door. Again, there's a huge advantage to having doors on your cabinet. It just keeps the dust off, keeps everyone from touching your stuff. In some sense, if you do it right, you can also make it child-proof, and in the case of an earthquake, not everything's going to come flying across the room. So a lot of advantages to having it, and then this is the easiest, cheapest way to do it. The cost of these things is relatively cheap. They sell these frames in up to 7-foot sections. So in theory, if you wanted to, you could make one huge door for it. Only thing is, when I find that I made the first set that big, it doesn't have a lot of structural rigidity, so it kind of flops around. It seemed to fit a lot better when I made them a little shorter. So that's a 40-inch span by 30, and that seems to be just about the maximum that you want to push these guys to, especially since the only thing that's really keeping it with any kind of structural rigidity are the brackets and how tight you pull the vinyl. And so it will stay together, and it will actually serve pretty well. The fabric was about $4 for paint like this. I was able to buy 2 of these guys, aluminum frames, for about $6, and then these guys were relatively cheap. This tool was $2, so you're talking somewhere around $10 a door, which I think is pretty feasible for protecting your collection. Considering that most of us have collections that are worth thousands of dollars, it doesn't make sense to kind of protect it so it doesn't go splatter on the floor in case of an earthquake. In any case, thanks for watching, and well, there's collection. There's about 110, 120 in there. I lose count after a while, and I've left room for future growth. In any case, thanks for watching. Go Giants! Alright, so we're at Lowe's. We're looking at the window screens. The window screen mesh from my place. I bought the brown, but they are aluminum screen frames. They're 5/16 3/4 by 7 feet, and they come in a very long size. You can cut them down using a hacksaw. They come with a little line that you can put what they call a spline into. You'll need to buy some corners. The corners are sewed in white, gray, and brown for $1.92 each. You will need some spline to put into the track. I get the 140 size over there, and that seems to work. And you also need a spline tool, which they sell for $3. You need one of these guys to put the spline into the track to hold the vinyl in place, and that's about all you need. Alright, so we're at Target, and these are the bookshelves that I bought. They are sold under the Real Essentials brand name. Look for the big green box which it says RE, Real Essentials. They come in a 5-shelf format and a 3-shelf format. The 3-shelf format sells for $21.99. The 5-shelf format for $32.99. And depending on your size of room, you'll get one or the other, or both, like I did. They come in white, black, brown, and tan. They're pretty easy to assemble, and they're relatively sturdy. And I think each shelf will hold somewhere around 25 pounds, so that should be pretty good for what you're doing. Alright, so if you're interested in something a little bit more sturdy than those MDF versions that I bought, they also sell solid wood bookcases. These are actually pretty nice. I have one in my living room. They sell a little bit more. 5-shelf version here sells for $109, and it's relatively easy to assemble, although I will tell you they weigh a ton. So you have options. I mean, you don't have to go crazy buying bookcases. Alright, that's enough shopping for the day. Thanks. Bye.